is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Untch's for Lunches. Today I'm going to show you 3 different methods on how to cut a sirloin knuckle. Out of this, you'll get sirloin tip roast, steaks, cube meat, stew meat, stir fry, 90% lean if you run it through the grinder. This thing is separated by 2 different seams, which ends up giving you 3 different muscle parts, but we're going to focus on this piece that I'm tapping right here with my knife. That'll get you your steaks. So we're just going to follow the seam kind of up and around, and I'm gonna spin it around here so you can kind of see, and I'll follow that entire seam down with my knife and separate that lean muscle. And this big piece right here is what I'm gonna use for the roasts, and then this other little piece, after I get it flipped over here, I'll show you, we'll use this for steaks. You can see when I get it flipped around where my fingers are, it starts to taper down a little bit. That's where we're gonna face it off. And the top part where the silver skin and all that jelly stuff is, we're just gonna trim it up and then slice this thing down into some really lean steaks. All right, we got our steaks cut. They look beautiful. Where I drew the line right there is where I'm gonna face it off, and then all the stuff on top, I'm just gonna trim up, and then I'm gonna cut 2 big roasts and tie them up. Let's go. Okay, now that we have our roasts cut, 2 big, beautiful roasts, we're gonna tie them up. And the only reason why I'm tying them with this method is because the way it's cut, one of the muscles of the 3 portions that are separated by the 2 seams kind of wants to fall away from the other pieces. And so sitting in a tray or in a service case, it doesn't look very appealing. But when you tie it, it kind of brings all those muscle parts together. And then when it's sitting facing upright, like you can see right here, it just looks very nice, very appealing. Number 2 of cutting the sirloin tip roasts. First, you want to take a teeny little facing off the front when it's just sitting on the table as is, and then use that flat part of the facing to tip the roast upright so it sits flat. But to add an extra wedge to help the meat sit flat on the table, just tuck that little front facing behind the meat, and then boom. So then after this, you're going to take your facing, and we'll jump right into cutting these roasts. All right, with this method, you'll get 2 big, beautiful, full-cut sirloin roasts. And then at the end here, you'll see where I just take this small facing off the back of this piece, and you'll be left with maybe a 1.5 pound roast for grandma, or you could turn the rest into stew meat, cube steak, stir fry, 90% lean, whatever. But let's move on to method number 3. Method number 3 is literally the easiest method, where I'm drawing these lines straight across the entire thing. You just straight cut down those lines. Don't flip it, don't face it, don't turn it, don't do nothing. And so you'll be able to see here, take my facing off. Well, I said don't face it. You do take that first facing off always. And then just straight back on your roast. And these look pretty good in the service case. They kind of look almost like a full cut top sirloin steak, like a full cut top butt with that mouse meat still on it there. But yeah, you can run these the whole way back, and that's the cutting tutorial. That's it. That's all there is to a sirloin knuckle. If you guys are meat cutters and you're watching this and you want to learn how to cut anything else, you just let me know and I'll post a video. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll leave the rest of this beautiful display of meats here for you guys to just enjoy, and we'll see you next time on another episode of Untch's for Lunches.